Welcome to the PharmaSource podcast.
Today we're speaking with Nicolas Ragot, Chief Executive Officer of Delpharm. Nicolas brings over 3 decades of pharmaceutical manufacturing expertise, having started his career as a process engineer at Eli Lilly before progressing through technical and leadership roles at Procter and GSK. He joined Delpharm in 2018 as Chief Operating Officer and became CEO in 2024. In today's episode, Nicolas shares Delpharm's strategic vision for navigating an increasingly complex manufacturing landscape. We'll explore how the company is investing in technology and capabilities to differentiate in a consolidating market, how geopolitical pressures are reshaping manufacturing footprints, and what sponsors should actually prioritise when selecting long-term manufacturing partners. Nicolas, thanks a lot for joining me.
Hello, Dora. Happy to be there.
So Delpharm positions itself as an independent, one-stop shop CDMO. Which few strategic differentiators do you want to be known for, in the next 5 years? What sort of concrete moves are you making now to reinforce your direction?
Well, we're in the manufacturing of drug products. So the number one differentiator is supply reliability, OTIF. We need to bring the products to the patients, then end-to-end so that we can bring products from early stages to commercial manufacturing, and all that to bring customer value. This is really what we're really trying to do every day, bring customer value, anticipate their needs, so that we can bring the products to the patients in the end. So this is really what we are known for. And if I could add another one that is a little bit different than the day-to-day operations, it's our ability to do successful acquisitions. They are totally transparent to the people who are giving us, quote, their sites. We're able to do this in a very transparent manner. Sometimes we have more than 100 IT systems that we need to transfer. And the last time we've done this, we've been able to do it while the site was doing a record year in its entire 30 years history. So this is something that we're quite proud of.
Yeah, wow. 100 different IT systems that you have to basically standardize, I guess?
Well, it's the legacy company has those systems, and then we need to copy them, transfer them into our own IT organization while continuing to produce. We change the ERP, we could sometimes change the LIMS and all the other SCADA systems and everything, HR, payroll. It's dozens of systems that are being transferred from one configuration into our own configuration while producing. So this is not really easy. And honestly, I think this is the feedback we got from our clients. It seems we're pretty good at this.
Cool. So that brings us quite nicely on to talk about digitalization, I think. In pharma manufacturing, it really has to be GMP robust, value driven. What digital capabilities are you prioritizing? What outcomes will customers and regulators notice first about your digitization journey? Yeah,
so the number one, which is always something I will start with in the pharma industry, it's quality and the data reliability, data integrity as it's called over the last 15 years. This is really something very important, but it's kind of a basics that everybody expects. So the next step is, what do you actually do with the data? And this is again where I believe we can bring value to our customers. One thing that I really believe where we are also good at, it's that we bring those data in a sort of uniform way, whatever the sites you're dealing with at Delpharm. And this is something that again our clients are really happy about, because they come to big CDMOs like us, so that they are not addressing things and getting things from different sites as if they were different CDMOs. So our digitalization is around putting core models so that we also diminish the costs and bring value to our customers. And also it allows us to give to our customers, whatever the site, the same way of working.
And sponsors, really want confidence and visibility without sort of extra friction with their partners. How do you provide that end-to-end transparency, from RFQ to tech transfer to commercial supply? And what are you standardizing across Delpharm to make the experience consistent across, all those different sites and acquisitions you mentioned?
Yeah. So of course, I cannot say that the standardization can be everywhere. If you're producing a sterile product in an aseptic manner, or you're doing an OTC product that's almost food grade, even though it's produced in a pharma site, there are quite a lot of variety of products and also markets that allows us to yet being able to differentiate the customers while providing the same standards and same ways of working. So where we do this, where we really improve over the years to bring value to our customers, it's when we are really able to take the growth that they want to do in different sites and accompany them into this growth. So usually the best success that we have is they come in one site, and then they are quite happy with what we do, and then they go to another site and another site. And sometimes we have customers, they are sourcing their products out of 8 or 9 sites within Delpharm.
Let's talk about partnerships for a minute. CDMO relationships seem to be having this shift in recent years, moving from sort of transactional relationships to more strategic aligned partnerships. Where does Delpharm see room for innovative contracting, capacity reservation, dual sourcing, shared capex, CI, bonus malus on service? What does successful partnership look like to you in practice?
I really believe that the partnership is taking a long view. It's for the long term. So without going into the analogy of couples, if you really want to be successful, you need to think long term and what really you want to achieve. So I believe the first step is to understand the client needs, because sometimes, and it may happen, we cannot fulfill what they want on a long-term view for different reasons. Maybe we don't have the capacities, maybe we don't have the geography that they require, those kinds of things. So that's fine. But if it's the case, then we take the long view. And as you mentioned, capacity reservation, dual sourcing, we have 18 manufacturing sites and we can offer dual sourcing. And this is usually key for being able to respond faster when you have volumes, volatility, and other things like this. Especially that we serve 150 countries on the planet, and the forecast accuracy on the different countries is not the same. Some countries, forecast accuracy is low by nature. And then what we really do as a partner is we help build a resilient supply chain with our customers. We have also the power of being able to discuss with suppliers, because we have usually, in the vast majority of the cases, an industrial footprint that is bigger than our clients. So this is really where we can partner with them so that we can use our supply base so that we can produce the products with their long-term needs.
Tell me a bit more about that then. How does Delpharm's network strategy actually help clients de-risk supply? And what sort of resilient scenarios do you actively plan for?
Well, we run our sites with I won't give the numbers because it's a little bit confidential, but the capacity utilization is at a level that allows us flexibility within sites. So in terms of dual sourcing, for example, we can dual source by registering products on 2 sites with the help and the approval, of course, of our clients. And then we can shift productions from one site to another to make room for another client, or for the same client, we can increase production and react quickly to volatility of volumes. So this is really something that we're really good at, because we have many sites who do different dose forms, and all of the products we do, virtually all of the products we do, because we have a vast variety of products, they can be dual sourced. So this is really a big help.
Tell me more about that dual sourcing strategy then. I know everyone in the industry has different opinions on whether it's a Brazilian good idea or, what other options there are. So you always have more than one supplier for all of your materials.
Yeah, so that again, this is something we're trying to do. It's not possible on everything, but we've had, especially in the last years, where after the post-COVID issues on supply, we've developed resilient supply chains, different suppliers that we certify, and we can switch from one to the other quite quickly. So I think we've been one of the CDMOs with the less supply problems from our suppliers.
So you have sort of one primary supplier and then a backup supplier.
Yes, that's what we do. And also internally, our network is able to dual source. So it's not only at our suppliers, but it's also us. So it's a kind of a double-edged system where we can bring a security of supply.
That's really interesting. So your sponsors can dual source with you from different Delpharm sites?
Exactly, from different Delpharm sites, because we have capabilities, redundant capabilities on most of our dose forms.
Tell me about your geographic footprint then. Do you have mirrored capabilities across the globe, or are there different sort of pockets with different specialities?
Okay, so we are present in 150 countries via our customers.
Right.
Us, we are present in Europe and North America. And the dual sourcing capabilities are within our own 18 site footprints that are based in a handful of, a little bit more than a handful of countries. But through our customers, we are able to supply 150 countries. So this is also something that's quite interesting for our customers, because if somebody wants to go to South America, for example, well, we've been audited by Brazil, by Peru, by others, and so they can go there if they're not present.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk sustainability. It's really becoming a qualifier for CDMO selection, especially with the big pharma players. What are Delpharm's quantified climate targets? Scopes 1 to 3. Which levers matter most in your operations, would you say? And how do you embed ESG performance into customer decisions and reporting, into the years ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Dora. That's of course a very key element of our strategy, not only because our clients are demanding it, but also because we want to be good citizens, and also our employees are demanding that. If you're a young person, you'd rather work with a company that's taking this seriously as we do. So we've validated our SBTi targets. It will be 42% for scope 1 and 2 for 2030, and 25% for scope 3. It's an ambitious target, and we're working on it. And so far, so good.
It's interesting what you said about it attracts, young talent taking ESG seriously. Tell me about your growth horizons then. Take us, 2030 and beyond. What's your growth thesis across time horizons? The next year, the next 3 years, the next 3 to 7 years. Where are you planning on investing? And what capabilities do you think will, become table stakes versus differentiators?
Every company should have a strategy. So our strategy will be to continue to grow both organically, because we're gaining businesses for our sites, and of course we will continue to acquire new sites. There will be sites to be sold, and we want to continue our geographic expansion in Europe, mainly in Europe, but also North America. We're present in Canada, so we of course think of going to the US, South America, and maybe one day Asia. But we are a cautious company. We want to grow at a pace that allows us to digest those acquisitions, digest the ways of working of those new markets. So it took us 30 years to be there. So if it's taking another 10, 20 years to go on another continent, so be it. But we're very confident that we will be able to go into those different geographies. And in terms of technologies, we'll continue to grow our possibilities. We don't cover all of the dose forms, and we will try to see if we can do those acquisitions to do some BFS, for example, that we don't do, and go also into more development capabilities, because this is also what our clients are requesting. So basically, we will go where our clients kind of tell us where to go, whether geographically or from a technological perspective.
Finally then, if you are advising a biotech CEO selecting a CDMO this year, what are the main 5 criteria that you think would truly predict success in the partnership, and how should they actually test that during due diligence?
So that's a difficult question. I think I would say if you were in a biotech, for me, time to market is key. So choose a company that respects the timelines. Time to market is essential. It's a very competitive landscape. So for me, that's the number one. Second, technical capabilities. It's really key because if you don't have the technical capabilities, you won't be able to respect the timelines. And then ability to scale up, because even if you respect the timelines to file, if you can't produce, then that's a problem. And then in the end, it's more classical GMP track record, service track record, those kinds of things. But for me, the essential partner when you're in biotech, when you're launching products, it's really time to market that is key. And this is what we're also trying to do when we are developing products, not necessarily for biotech company, but for startups, because we have development capabilities there, respecting the timelines so that the phase 1, the phase 2, the phase 3 manufacturing batches are done on time. 1 day lost during this phase is 1 day of peak sales that is lost, always.
In terms of when a biotech is going through the process of choosing a CDMO, and say time to market is front of mind, it's obviously very easy for a CDMO in a conversation to promise we'll take your timelines very, very seriously. But what indicators do you think a biotech could look for, maybe on a site visit or something sort of beyond the marketing presentations, that would indicate that you do take this seriously?
Well, it's simple. It's respecting the milestones for a development project. So if a company wants to come and see how we are dealing with projects like that, we can do it anonymously, but we can show all of our projects where we respect the timelines. And for me, that's the best indicator. See, it's milestones are respected on time. This is for me the key indicator.
Absolutely. Nicolas, thanks a lot for taking the time out of your day to talk to me about Delpharm. It's been really great.
Thank you, Dora.